Welcome to A Taste of AZ podcast, where we interview everyone from James Beard award-winning chefs to local mixologists, winemakers, breweries, and so much more. We've got an awesome episode lined up for you today. But before we get into that, head to atasteofaz.com so you can subscribe to our quarterly magazine and email newsletter to find all of the best places to eat and drink around town. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Now let's get into the episode.
All right, take number 2. Chef Mike wasn't micing very well. That's a technical problem.
Mike on the mic.
But quick little story. Matt inspired this whole thing. Episode number 2 of Tap That AZ, January 16th of 2017. Go listen to it if you want to put yourself through that torture of hearing you and I talk. But no, man, I thank you for that. I had no real kind of indication that food and beverage was the path that I was going to go on. We had a music podcast and I like to drink on it, right? But it was all about the music. And then when you reached out, I was like, man, that's kind of cool. A local business reached out and liked what I did, or at least saw what we did. I don't know if you liked it or not, but
no, absolutely.
So thank you for creating that spark, Matt. I appreciate that.
Well, yeah, it's good. It's been a good collaboration since.
Absolutely, and it's been almost 600 episodes since, between 400 with Tap That and almost 200 with this one. And we're back.
Awesome, man.
We're here at Barley Smoke. This place is beautiful, man.
Thank you.
This is really cool. And you guys have done incredible stuff from the start, with not just on the beer side, but the food side as well. It's always been one of my favorite brewery places to eat. But let's meet you guys first. So who are you and what do you do here?
I'm Mike Mahalick. I'm a chef co-owner of Peoria Artisan Brewery and Barley Smoke.
Yeah, excellent. The man who makes the food.
That's him.
The creator of the food. And who are you and what do you do?
I am Matt Frosch, and I am the owner of Peoria Artisan Brewery and Barley Smoke. And
what do you do? You carry around stacks of cash. I saw there's
stacks of cash. I'm the money man.
So, well, I think I always kind of crack up a little bit, right? Because Peoria Artisan didn't start in Peoria.
It did
right?
not. No.
Where did it start?
Litchfield Park. Litchfield Tap Room.
Yeah.
In a space that was later taken over by TCBC.
Great space.
And they're still rocking it. They moved next door to a bigger spot, and they're just killing it.
Yeah, they are. That spot next door is huge. It's a big space.
Yeah, it was CrossFit, and they moved in there after CrossFit left, and they got a lot more space. So they got a new system that they're working on and stuff. So. Yeah,
but you were the pioneer, man. You were the one that you were.
Yeah, breaking I had no clue what I was getting into, which is a good thing.
Sure. Yeah, ignorance is bliss sometimes, right?
It's helped.
Yes. Yeah. Well, so why did you start Peoria Artisan in the first place, and the original tap room by the Wigwam?
Original tap room. I mean, it was all about a passion for craft beer, not just a beer or drinking the beer itself, but it's about, for me, the community surrounding beer, not just the beer industry people, but also our neighbors, people down the street, get together over a pint of beer. And that's what it was all about.
Yeah.
And my good friend, Neil, he reached out, and it's just close enough for you.
Yeah, there you go.
He
I wasn't
reached out.
expecting you to have mic problems, but
he found the spot down there in Litchfield, and he reached out to me and he said, man, I'm not going to not do this and never know. If it could have been something. And I said, I'm in. Yeah. And the rest is history. And of course, we eventually came up here. The plan was always to be in Peoria. Finances and the capabilities were a little different at the time.
Sure.
Came up here in 2015. TCBC took over Litchfield Tap Room in 2018.
Okay. Yeah.
And we've been doing our thing up here since. So
Nice. And I know exactly what you mean with the beer community, like everything that's involved with that's really what got me, because we were doing the music podcast and we had a segment called What the F Are You Drinking, which is when we featured Peoria Artisan. I can't even remember which one it was, but I just remember I came here for a pint and I was just blown away. I think it was something more malty, because that's what I was into at the beginning. And I still have the little, almost like the grenade, like the Mickey's grenade style.
The small 32 ounce.
Yeah. So for me, it was like, I was like, yeah, I like craft beer. But then when I started doing the podcast and doing the interviews and talking with people like you and Michael from Mother Road, I'm like, damn, this is this is a cool industry.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people. There's a lot of creativity. And now with us being in all food, so much creativity and so much passion. I mean, it's a really passion-driven industry,
Oh,
food
absolutely.
and beverage.
It has to be. You
Yeah.
have to have the passion for it because
sure.
it will just consume you.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and mess up your life. You've got to have that drive for it. It doesn't come easy, and it's a grind all the time.
Yeah.
I remember Chef telling me when we first opened this location, I mean, we would do 150 covers, and which isn't much.
Yeah.
And we'd be like, holy shit. and he would always say, it's a monster. You got to feed it. And you do.
Yeah.
But you got to have that drive, that passion for it, and you get through it and things get better, and, doing our thing and sharing that with everyone.
Yeah. Well, when did you join on board?
2015.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we even opened.
Okay. Did you have food? Did you have food at the original spot?
Oh, we had an amazing toaster oven.
Okay.
And some kick-ass grilled cheese that Neil would do. Yeah, and a charcuterie plate straight from Boar's Head.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with Boar's Head.
Is
Yeah,
via Costco.
imported meats. Yeah.
I thought it was Barras Head.
Yeah, Boar's Head.
I can never tell with you either. With your stuff, I'm like, whoa, hey, you get me excited by your delivery. So nice work, man.
Yeah, that was a kick-ass toaster oven, man.
Hey, man, like that sometimes the simplest stuff, people, I mean, they just want something to eat, right?
It was a realization down then, but it was a even bigger realization up here. And I think one of the biggest things we've learned through the years is, at least I have, is you never say never.
Yeah, sure.
And I know when you're doing business planning, you're thinking about opening, it's like, oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm definitely going to do this. I'm not going to have liquor or blah, blah, blah. And then you're like looking at the numbers like, I'm going to have freaking liquor, man.
Got to, right? Yeah. Well, I was talking with somebody who has another person who has like a speakeasy, right? And he was like, in theory, it's cool to not know about it, but he's like, that's not good for business.
Yeah, it's a bitch of a marketing plan right there. What are you going to do? I'm going to own a business and I'm run it. And I'm going to do really, really well. And I'm not going to tell anyone about it. In fact, my wife just asked me that last night when we were out to dinner. We went to the newer Buck and Rider up in North Scottsdale.
Oh yeah, on Mayo, right?
Yeah. And she's like, you think maybe it's hurting us a little bit being a speakeasy? I'm like, shh, don't talk about it.
You're already saying too much.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? You're ruining the genius marketing.
Yeah. Well, I want to get into that a little bit because I like that aspect of it. But on the surface, it's like, okay, this is what it is. But then, like you said, when you run the numbers, or if you kind of look at the whole picture, like, okay, there's a balance between that, right? But back to the question so when did you join on board? You said 2015.
About 2015.
Okay. Once this location was starting to plan.
Yeah, it was still. There was loose tanks in the brewery now.
Okay.
I was looking on Indeed for something else, and I was working downtown, and I saw a posting. It said craft brewery looking for a craft chef, and I'm like, that's me.
Yeah.
And
nice.
Sent an email, get a phone call from Matt, and then I cook at his house for him.
We invited him to the hizzy.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
It smiles all night.
Yeah.
I think so. They're real smiles.
Ah, you're still around.
Something worked. Yeah.
And
that was a rough night.
so we're gonna do great things. And 10 years later,
Here you are.
here we are.
Still at it. Still dealing with this guy, right?
I was telling the story last night. We got some recognition from New Times on brewery and food, and I was writing up a little post and everything. And I will never forget, me and partner at the time, Neil, were in the brewery. We're trying to figure shit out. And it's like, what the hell are we doing here? And we're just sweating because it was still under construction. It was like, that was a little earlier than September-ish, something like, or like early October.
Somewhere,
like
yeah.
And we had already asked him to come on board, and he was full on board and everything. And we're like, oh, we won't start till we get open. And I don't know what the hell that's going to be. And Neil and I are trying to get this stuff in place, and the door opens up, and Chef walks in. He's got, it was a Miller Lite shirt, old blue ratty Miller Lite shirt, and flip flops on. He's like, "You guys need a hand?" And so the rest is history.
Yeah.
That's a double-edged sword, though, right? He's like, oh man, he's here to help, but he's got flip-flops on.
Yeah.
And a Miller Lite shirt.
It's just the
And Miller Lite
should
shirt,
be
yeah.
damned.
Correct.
I didn't say that.
Well, so where? So what's your backstory a little? Like, how long have you been like in the industry?
I've been cooking for about 16 years, 17
Okay.
years.
Yeah.
I switched careers when I was about 29.
Okay.
I was in cabinetry and furniture and all those things, and had a little passion and just took a certificate course in culinary arts. Got my first job in a kitchen as a dishwasher.
Yeah.
And then moved out here to Arizona. Just worked my way up through a couple different restaurants. Boulders.
Oh yeah.
Worked over at Palomar Hotel.
Okay.
DeSoto Central Market, and then now here.
Yeah. Nice. Been at it for 10 years now, and are
Yeah.
you glad you made the change?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. What was
Yeah.
it about? Like, what drew? Was it just you just enjoyed cooking at home type of thing, or what?
Yeah,
what-
I was always cooking at home, and always thought I would be a caterer.
Okay.
I wanted to do catering, like backyard parties and events and stuff like that, and that took a sudden turn, and
Yeah.
I got hooked in working restaurants and the little rush on the line, and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So you don't wish you were in catering now?
No,
Sometimes.
no, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys connect. You get Peoria Artisan open. I remember that the shrimp and grits were I still talk about those.
Oh, yeah.
To this
Yeah.
day.
Can we do it on a Sunday, Matt?
Yeah.
Shrimp and grits.
Is that what it was? It was his idea to do?
No, it was your idea.
Oh.
I think we could get together on Sunday.
Yeah.
The chef got the shrimp and grits.
Yeah. Can I just get a tub of those, please? But no, the food was always incredible. The beer was incredible. But this episode here, we're talking about Barley Smoke, the new place. So, what made you decide to, rather than? So I'll preface it with this: as I've always really enjoyed and really respected what you guys do as far as serving your community, right? Your neighborhood, right? It's in the name. Peoria is in the name, and that's a lot of people that I talked to through Tap.az. A lot of their goal was to be the neighborhood tap room, right? But then you kind of you get some cans out in the Trevor's and to Tap and Bottle in Tucson. It's like, this is kind of cool seeing my shit everywhere,
Yeah,
right?
it's great.
Which is cool, right? But I love the focus on your neighborhood and your community here. So what led to this becoming,
What
rather than
prompted
another Peoria
this?
Artisan? Yeah.
Part of it was a case of amnesia,
Okay.
where I forgot how absolutely miserable it was to do that build out.
Yeah.
So I figured I would punish all of us again and do another build out.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice of you. Very nice of you.
So amnesia worked in our favor for that. A couple things. So we were dying over there. We were just too small.
Okay.
We had a 36-inch flat top.
Yeah,
You're talking about the kitchen.
undersized.
Yeah.
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 We
Well, it
were-
was perfectly sized, and then as we
Yeah.
customer base grew and the kitchen was started getting super small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got 7 years ago. It was great.
Sure. Yeah.
3 years ago, it was hell.
Yeah.
So that was the need from a business standpoint. So in the summer, actually spring of 22, we were working on a renovation plan for the kitchen.
Okay.
And I had contracted with the architect. We had drawings done. And in fact, we had submitted those drawings to the city in the summer of 22, late summer. And I was on vacation in July, and I got a text message from a fellow restaurant owner who said, "Hey, I go to the doctor next to you. I just got a thing in the mail saying they're closing." I'm like, "They're closing, really?" Called my landlord right away. I said, "Got to be in that space."
Yeah.
Because we needed more room. We
Yeah.
needed cooler space. We needed storage space. I'm like, we've got to have that. And then my wife was like, "What about more space for customers?" I'm like, "Well, I can't move that whole kitchen over. I mean, I can't even imagine what rerunning the gas and the water and everything." So I came up with a really smart plan to build a whole new restaurant within a restaurant and spend way more money than I could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And that's really how it came about. It's like, hey, how do you provide the infrastructure to run an effective operation, serve your customers in an appropriate manner so that they want to come back, that they have a good time, but also get more people in seats.
Sure.
And so we know that the West Valley may have a lower amount of unique places. And we're like, we want to do something different. We don't want to try to scalp customers from the other side. So it's going to be a different experience. And the speakeasy idea just evolved.
Yeah.
And when we figured, hey, we're going to have another space, what are we going to do to design this? Like that's huge work.
Sure.
And we got 4 little ones at home, and I reached out to Katie Rowe with Upper West Side Phoenix. I'm like, hey, do you have any recommendations of anyone you would think would work for us?
Yeah.
And she said, oh yeah, here, Nicole. And it was just freaking awesome. We would meet with Nicole.
Nicole Herman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was just killing it. And my wife worked really close with Nicole on taking what our ideas were and actually bringing them to life. And then when you get into the reality of actually ordering the stuff and trying to get it installed and everything, flexing as necessary to figure that piece out. But that's really a story behind how it got to how it is now, and that journey.
Yeah.
that nightmare.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why right, rather than like expanding just like what Peoria Artisan is, right? Rather than just having, how many, doubling the space or doubling the seats that you have, right? Why separate into 2? Like what was the decision behind doing something completely? Because of the need for something different?
Yeah, that and the need for something different, but also like don't get me wrong, the food over in Pab is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's great. It is the best upscale pub food that you're gonna find.
Yeah.
But I want to give Chef Michael a chance to like really freaking go all out.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's wood fired grill, wood fired oven, Heston French cooktop there. I mean, this is a shit hot
Chef's
line.
dream.
I was going to say, I can see his face. He's like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, every day I get to come in here and do whatever I want,
Yeah.
make what we want. There's always going to be some type of special every time you come in to have dinner here.
Yeah.
Whether it's fish or pork belly, duck, something. It's just something I come up with. Comes out on the line here, and it's just pretty special that I have this opportunity to be able to do that.
And why can't you do that with like Peoria Artisan? Just because of what you've created with that? Or
we run specials and whatnot over there, but it's at a certain level. I don't try not to do an upper scale, almost a fine dining element to Pab, because Pab's more relaxed.
Sure.
You're getting really good pub food and whatever. I don't think people are going to want to eat like duck and lamb over there. And
give me a duck and half. Yeah.
But that's this side. We do more of that experimental up in this side of town.
Yeah. I dig that, and I wasn't questioning the decision. I just like to hear that stuff as to what leads to that.
Totally different ambiance. This is our goal here. Is that when you walk through and come into this speakeasy, you are teleported.
Yeah,
you are going from Northwest Peoria, Arizona, to downtown Chicago or the middle of Seattle. Like you don't know you're in 110 degree hellish desert right now. What the hell is going on with the weather? But that's the whole goal is you can come in here and you forget about all the BS. You're going to be pampered. You're going to have like amazing drinks that are all craft brought to you by some of the coolest, nicest people in the industry in this area, our distributors. And we are going to take you away.
Yeah.
And that's the whole goal here. And it gives the chefs an opportunity to really experiment, really go all out. And, you come into this environment, and that's kind of the mindset that you have for that. If, we were putting down duck confit and someone in front of Pav, that might be like, what are you doing? I mean, we have had pig ears for almost 9 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it's the different ambiance and everything to really give you an experience. And I think it's really important that we've got it priced at a point where you don't have to have a 50th anniversary to come here. You can come and enjoy yourself and not have to take out a loan to do that. And, and all the cocktails are well under $20. Yeah. The biggest cocktail that we have as far as price goes is $17.
Okay. Yeah.
And the price point of the entrees, like we're doing a beautiful ribeye. It's coming from French's in Old Town Scottsdale, and it's Arizona Angus, and it's $43 for a beautiful ribeye, and it's cooked over open wood. That's just awesome.
You had me at open wood for sure.
Yeah. So it's about balancing out those business needs and our knowledge that we've gained over the years and our capabilities to do that.
Yeah.
With providing an experience for Northwest Peoria that you can do on a routine basis and feel like you're in New York City.
Yeah. I dig it, right? Because you have Peoria Artisan next door, beautiful patio. Right. Like that's kind of like, that's craft beer, right? Craft beer is, especially in Arizona, you want to be outside, you want to enjoy the sunshine and stuff like this, but this is a different experience. Like this is cool. Like this is the experience, right? Like, you sit on the patio and you just kind of look off and, enjoy the sunshine and enjoy your beer. But this, like you said, it transports you and it's like, you're locked in a good way, right? Not
and you're interacting with the chefs.
Yeah, you get the sounds and the sights of a working kitchen.
Yeah, yeah. If you can't see this on camera, if you're watching this on YouTube, but everything's open. Like this whole thing is open. I mean, you can watch the over here
chefs making your food.
Yeah,
while you're enjoying your cocktail and chit chatting.
For sure.
And the chefs bring it to you, and then they'll present it to you.
Oh, so you're getting delivered by the chefs.
Yeah, we come around, we talk and chit chat, and
what a great experience.
Yeah, it's trying to make it super intimate. Bringing a little bit of what we do our whole lives to you.
Sure. Yeah, which is a big difference than just having. I mean, it's great to get a plate of great food, right? But when you can take it up that next level, and you're like, especially people that really geek out about good food, they want to hear from the chef, like, oh man, like what did you do? Because we're all home chefs in our own way. We're like, oh, I can make it just like Chef Mike did, and like, nah, I can't.
Years ago, I'll never forget. I forget the name of the restaurant. It's at the Four Seasons. Jeez, I'm blanking on it.
I'm a podcaster, man. I can't afford to go to Four Seasons now.
We were trying a bunch of things on the menu, just ordering this and that, and we had come early, we stayed late, and we had a great time. I don't think we pissed off the staff.
Yeah.
And the sous chef came over, and the manager came over and introduced themselves to us. And this was way before we were doing anything like this, before I was in the industry, and I was just blown away.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, sous chef's business card. Like, wow, and it wasn't the name or anything like that. It's like they took the time to come out and say hi to us because we were so appreciative of what they were doing.
Yeah.
And there's this mystique of the kitchen. Like a lot of people have no idea what goes on in the kitchen, and it's an open book here.
Yeah.
Like, there's no mystique here. And if we're in the weeds in the kitchen, we're in the weeds because you see it right here. And you can feel it too. When we're rocking and rolling, we got plenty of fires going on over there. You're right in front of the action. You feel the heat on your face, and Chef Marco and Michael come up. Yeah.
A real quick reminder, head over to atasteofaz.com and subscribe to our email newsletter. Also, subscribe to A Taste of AZ magazine and get it shipped right to your door. Now let's get back into today's episode.
All right, so we gotta give a shout out to the pierogies. Now, heads up, when you're listening to this episode, you probably won't be able to get pierogies here at Barley Smoke because it's just an Oktoberfest thing, right?
Yeah, just Oktoberfest.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I love it though.
We are geographically challenged, so we'll go ahead and
it's Oktoberfest. What should we put on the menu? Pierogies.
Just a little something to make some money.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And people buy it, and we keep making more and more every year.
Yeah. What are you guys doing for Oktoberfest? Pierogies and chow mein.
Yeah.
Only a Barley and Smoke.
Got a great chicken fried rice.
Yeah. But that was your idea, chef?
Yeah,
To
I
do
was
the pierogi for the.
let's make a little special, like make some money. We got all these, everyone's coming to this Oktoberfest event. We got 100 people lined out the door, and I made like 100 pierogies. So I was like, oh, this will take all day. And like 25 minutes later, they're all sold. I'm like, oh my God.
They see pierogi. That's the first thing people are seeing. Yeah.
I like, okay, so Polish thing works in a German event. So
She like a big soft hot pretzel? No,
I want a pierogi.
Give me the pierogi.
We make like 500 now.
Yeah. Nice.
Staff love it.
I dig it. Do they? They love
We've been making
everybody
pierogies
gets
for 3
involved.
weeks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Literally.
dang.
By
So we're not
hand.
doing it all of the first week.
Sure. Yeah. So it's like rolling silverware. Like at the end of the night, you got to roll. Like you got to make 20 pierogies.
Yeah, that doesn't get done either. So.
So, well, all right. So you guys are working on the menu. Matt, throws his ideas out there. You're like, no, F that. Like we're not going to the farmer's market every day. So what about the cocktail side of it? Because I know cocktails are a big part of what you do. And I haven't had any myself. Actually, I don't know if I told you, I quit drinking in February. I haven't had it. Yeah. So I did. I always tell people I went pro and retired early because I did my fill of drinking. Yeah.
Good for you.
Thanks, man. It's I'm 45 and it's longer to recover.
You look a day over 30.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah.
The
hair's
3-day hangover.
Yeah.
She had a 6-pack of IPAs.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yep. My dad came out a few times, and he just drinks he loves having Coors when he's out here, but like back in Ohio, he drinks like Yingling. So I'm like, we're gonna drink some double IPAs. Next day, he's like, we're not drinking double IPAs.
Not doing that. Back to the Yingling.
Yeah. So, but Yingling, that's I do miss that. But so I've seen pictures and I've heard people talk about the cocktail seal. Nicole from Social Design Studio. She's incredible. She's got to give a shout out to her. But so many people have talked about that aspect of this is the cocktail. So how do you create that?
Experiment.
Yeah.
We got a great bartender, mixologist, Megan Baker, and she's put her heart and soul into creating cocktails for this side of the operation. And she's put up with me. She'll say, what do you think of this? I'm like, it's a little sweet. What do you think of that? So, it's a little one-sided. And after, I think, what was it, 2 weeks ago, we adjusted the cocktails a little bit over here, and we were working on an espresso martini. I thought she was going to kill me. I think she went to chef and said, if he changes this one more time, I'm going to kick his ass. And
17 iterations of espresso martinis.
Less Bailey's, more Frangelico. Like, I'm going to shove it up.
In a way, though, that's I think that's kind of good because I think people are sometimes apprehensive about, oh no, this is great. Where the masters want to be critiqued in certain ways of like, okay, because I don't know how hardcore you go
on your big boy pants and big girl pants when you come to do this stuff.
For sure.
And it's hard. I mean, I know like last thing I want to do is go to Chef Mike or Nick or Marco and say, hey, this sucks.
Yeah.
And there's a way to do it.
For sure.
And then you don't do it.
Yeah.
You just walk away.
Like, Chef, I'm going home. He turns around. I can see that. I'm like, not right now. But it's important to be honest with yourself. And that applies to beer too.
Yeah.
Like if a beer's working and you're about to tap it and it's like, wow, I don't know about this. And you mentally, you're just trying to make it work. And you can't do it mentally. And you have to come to terms with that stuff. And, every once in a while you throw out a batch of beer and every once in a while you throw out a cocktail. And we have one, it's made with Origin 35 corn whiskey.
Okay.
And Compass Spirits has provided us this wonderful libation.
Oh, nice.
And this shit is funky.
Yeah.
Like, it's like corn and more corn. And I'm like, we've got to do this. Like it's from Oaxaca. The name is based off the 35 indigenous corns in the state of Oaxaca.
Okay.
And I'm like, there's a story here to tell. And that's what we're about. Like the craft beer in the glass is a story. The food is a story, and you get to watch the story unfold here. And that cocktail's got to be a story too.
Yeah.
And I tell the story about it. Like, hey, I learned about Abel when I was watching a podcast. When him and Ivan were talking about Carreno and the mezcal they were bringing.
Yeah.
And so when I'm looking for something that's got a story and that I could put in front of a customer and share that and share the passion, like Abel, that guy is like, he's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
And his knowledge and then how he expresses that passion for our neighbors to the south, it's just amazing.
I agree.
I got to do that. That was a bitch to make a cocktail out of that thing.
Really?
Man. It was
because it's so overpowering.
Took over just about everything.
Yeah.
So what do you do with it? Like, so what did you?
You make it happen.
Yeah.
you bust your ass, and seriously, I think for months.
Yeah, I was coming back from the store buying just stuff to try to
roasted
tame
peppers,
roasting things, sweet, sour, just hitting all the points. And finally one day it just was like, ooh, got onto something. And
yeah, what is that?
We have
what is it now?
Well, it was the honey bourbon.
Okay.
That we use with it, I think was right the key to cut the funk with a little sweet in the bourbon, and it worked out. But it was a journey, and everything is that way. The beers are that way, the cocktails are that way, and the food is that way. And Chef is, he's really passionate about sandwiches with buffalo sauce on them. That is his favorite.
I hate it.
Well, really? You hate buffalo sandwich? Like,
it's just Dunkin' Buffalo, fried chicken or a burger. A couple of years ago, we had a burger on the menu.
Tatanka.
It's called a Tatanka burger.
Yeah.
But before it made it on the menu, where I was, hey, we're going to go into a summer thing. Here's my menu. And Matt's like, hey, we should get another burger on there. My staff was throwing buffalo on cheeseburgers, and they were eating with blue cheese.
Dinner.
Yeah.
This was like family meal.
Yeah.
And I was just like, when we first opened our first day here, it was everything entree and really nice things. And I had one burger and I think maybe a BLT. Now, many, many years later, there's probably like 5 to 7 sandwiches and burgers on the menu. Going back to the Tatanka. So I'm like, let's do this buffalo blue cheese, crispy onions on a brioche and buffalo burger. So Tatanka, like Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
So we put it on there. We selling shit ton of them.
Yeah.
And then
we're going to take it off.
I was going to take it off. And all of a sudden we get top 25 burger in Phoenix for the Tatanka burger.
Dominic had come in.
Yeah, he comes in.
Yeah.
Or one of his staff comes in and they say it was really great. Nothing was over. It's just equally balanced.
Yeah.
Matt's like, you can't take it off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We're moving in now, buddy.
Yeah. So it stayed on for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then I was like, it's got to go.
First opportunity to kick it off to the curb. You did. Yeah.
But it's one of those off menu things.
Okay.
And we still sell it to this day.
Yeah.
A couple a day at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meaning people know about it. And they'll ask
they know
for
about it.
Yeah.
Ask for it.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll see it and hey, what is that? And it's like
kicks the ass of the new servers though.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, what would you like? I'll have a Tatanka. Oh, I'm sorry. We don't have that on the menu. Oh, yes, you do. No, I'm sorry. You're
just ask the chef.
No, tell Michael I want a Tatanka.
Michael's in the back. Fuck.
Yeah.
No.
Knee deep in butter and hot sauce.
So what do you put buffalo sauce on over here at the at Barley and Smoke?
There's no buffalo sauce. There's no ranch.
Okay.
Don't ask for it.
A ribeye with buffalo
sauce.
sauce.
Don't ask for ranch and Barley and Smoke because I have to listen to that.
No ketchup.
No ketchup. Oh man, you lost me at no ketchup. Dang, that's got to be Heinz too to me.
Get you corn syrup somewhere else, Eric.
So the drink, I don't know if you ever clarified, or maybe I didn't hear, but what did you make with the corn whiskey?
Corn whiskey was a honey bourbon that we mix in with it.
Oh, gotcha.
It's got a couple other things I can't remember off the top of my head.
So it's just like a bourbon cocktail, like an old fashioned.
It is. I mean, it's a corn whiskey
Yeah.
And with a little bit of American bourbon in it, spiked with a little honey, so it cuts through the funkiness of the corn. But it's kind of unique garnish we have for it. So since there's the honey bourbon in it, we've got a little honey dipper, a mini honey dipper.
Yeah.
And Megan came up with the idea to take the little corn guys that are in the
like little baby corn,
the baby corns, and they toast it with a torch. So, and then they tie it together with a corn husk. So that's the garnish, and
I like that.
It takes 15 minutes to make the damn
garnish.
Yeah.
One by one.
Yeah. Your cocktail over here in 45 minutes.
But you get to watch her make it, right?
Yeah, you get to watch her make it. Yeah. She's get the bees out.
Yeah. Bees, extracting the honey. So what else is on the cocktail menu? Like, what are some of your guys' favorites?
English Garden is a huge one, and that's with house infused vanilla vodka.
Okay.
And it's got rose petals on the side of it.
Oh, nice.
And it is a creamy blue in color. That one is hugely popular. And then there is the Smokin' Aces. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah, that was back in the day. Yeah.
So that's our smoked. It's kind of like an old fashioned. It's Buffalo Trace.
Okay.
It's not on the rocks. But it's smoky, yummy, and a little mix in there. So that's a popular one. And then like you don't have to go signature cocktail. Like, hey, vodka tonic, please. No problem. We got that for you too. So
nice.
It's dealer's choice here.
I dig it. I dig one, and you've got some great. As I'm looking over there, I see the Carreño, right? So I mean, Copa Spirits supplies you guys, and
we have the ultimate collection of mezcals and tequilas here.
Yeah, nice.
There is some amazing small batch artisanal alcohols that you just check out, and they're all above us right here, so we can't see them.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's a pretty small selection. I like it.
Yeah, that's a smidgen over there.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, you got. Oh yeah, there's multiple Carreño bottles too, and very impressed. You even have your own whiskey Del Bach barrel. Hell yeah.
And we got in trouble because Kelly, the Del Bach rep.
I don't think I've met Kelly.
Kelly's amazing. Yeah. Stewart I can't remember his last name. It's escaping me right now.
I believe it's Stewart.
Yeah. We'll fact check that and correct it.
He was with Maverick Quench back in the day.
Yeah.
And he got us the barrel. He worked with Megan on that. And then Kelly said, how's the barrel going? And Megan's like, oh, great. I put a gin in it. And he's like, you put a what in it? He's like, yeah, I'm barrel aging a gin in the Del Bach. He's like, I hate you. I'm never coming back.
Because he just wanted Del Bach in there, right?
I mean, I thought he expected. He expected anything but gin.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what he told us.
I like that though, right?
It's freaking delicious.
Yeah.
It's not done yet. She's had it in there for what, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Going on 6 weeks. Yeah.
That's a kind of gin though, right? That's was it the Old Tom gin or something?
You got me on it.
Yeah. So do you know about Canyon Diablo up in Flagstaff?
Mm-hmm.
So they have a gin. It's like I'm pretty sure it's bourbon barrel. It's a bourbon barrel that they age the gin in, so it's a darker color.
Yeah.
And it's named after like this hardcore like madam from the 1800s that was in Flagstaff. Like, oh really? I can't remember. Clabberfoot. Her name's so it's like called Clabberfoot Gin. Their spirits are incredible. Like I really like I like Canyon Diablo. They've got cool stories like the John Shaw. Have you heard the John Shaw story?
I have not.
This dude like in early 1900s, like wild, Old West. Long story short, this dude robbed a broth or a saloon, took off. Cops found him, shot him, killed him, buried him. His shot of whiskey was still at the bar. So the bar guys, like the dudes that were drinking, took his bottle of whiskey and dug his body up and posted. They didn't have social media back then. Posed with him.
They put it on Instagram.
On Instagram, yeah, with TikTok, yeah. But this is a real, it's a real story. Like they dug this dude. Yeah, exactly. Selfie stick. But they dug this dude's body up and they posed with him with the whiskey bottle. So there's pictures of this dude, John Shaw. It's on the back of their whiskey bottle where he's like a corpse and he's stiff and they're holding him up and they're holding the whiskey bottle up and it's like, This happened right outside of
Wow.
Flagstaff in Diablo Canyon or whatever it is. Yeah.
I'm just dying to try that.
Yeah, it is. It's incredible. It's like I think it's a single malt and it might be mesquite smoked. But anyways,
That's really cool.
yeah. So maybe that's what she's doing with that is she's creating I think it's an Old Tom gin is the
Quite
thing.
possibly. She
Yeah.
does her research. She's educated me, that's for sure.
That's a good person to have on your team making your
Absolutely.
cocktails.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the key components is like we have guidelines. We got to run a business, right? So we've got guidelines on our food costs and our liquor and our wines and everything. But it's like, do what you feel is right.
Yeah.
Megan put together a whole list of fall cocktails. She came up with all of them on her own.
Nice.
She got with my wife and got the program that we use for menus. She did it up and she printed them out and she presents the menu to our customers and it's like, it's hers.
Yeah.
She's engaged and she owns it and she does it and she puts up with me and they follow the guidelines and that's killer. And to have your team in the kitchen the same way is like, they work within those guidelines and they take that passion and they put it on a plate before you. And that's what it's all about.
And it's pretty incredible when those things start to line up, right? Where, when we brought Rachel on like 6 months ago, for her to really elevate and take some things that we've kind of built out, like different systems, and to have her run with those and execute them way better than I was doing, right? Like it feels good to have, like, to know that you've got great people on your team that have, in many ways do it better than you do, right? It's it's like I don't know. I like to think that I know what the hell I'm doing, but I think I just fake it through most of the time.
Only as good
it
as
works.
people around you.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. You got Chef here with on running the food, and then you've got Megan. You said, right? Yeah. Doing the cocktails. It's great. You guys got a great thing going here. So what do you got? Like, I know we talked about the food a little bit, but like when you guys are eating, like what are your dishes that you choose here at Barley Smoke? The buffalo.
I don't eat here.
Okay.
I eat when I taste test and
Yeah.
we're doing all these things. If I were to have to go after something, I probably would get the gaucho chicken. It's our half chicken, or it's full chicken or half chicken.
Yeah.
That we smoke over our wood-fired grill, really super low temp.
Okay.
Smoke it for about 10 hours.
Oh, dang, nice.
And then I braise it. Well, we salt brine it, dry brine it first.
Okay.
Smoke it, then braise it, and then take the braising liquid, and that gets served with the chicken with a little bit of chimichurri.
Nice.
The chicken
Low
also
calorie.
goes in our wood-fired oven, and it gets a super crispy skin on it.
Nice.
It's almost like
It's like
bacon.
Yeah.
And
Dang.
it's really nice dish. That would be my go-to.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of what would you guys use?
We use a combo of mesquite and pecan.
Okay. Any reason for those ones in particular?
Mesquite's really good on the grill.
Okay.
Stays hot. Burns really nice. Stays long.
Okay.
And pecan really burns in the oven fast, and gives a nice flavor to like we do some breads and whatnot in there. It gives a nice flavor to things.
Nice. What about you, Matt? What do you go for? You make you buffalo sandwiches and stuff. Extra
Chicken
ketchup and ranch?
tenders.
Chicken tenders. I like my chicken tenders. My go-to is eggs and chorizo on a Sunday morning.
Eggs and chorizo.
For brunch.
Okay. Oh, you guys do a brunch here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Next
we don't
door.
do
Oh, that's a
brunch
pure.
here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So like I spend so much time here, and my wife's like, "Hey, you want to go out?" Or she'll say, "Hey, the kids and I are going to come to the brewery." I don't eat here. I don't. The food is amazing.
I don't
This
eat
is
here either.
where I live. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
That's a good. That's a good habit to have, though, right? Because I've known many people that go the opposite way, right? I'm like, I
Yeah.
see them, they're like, dude, I put on 30. I don't know if you know Brett Vibber. Chef Brett Vibber. So he's
know of them.
Yeah. So he's kind of basically running the culinary side of like Merkin Vineyards, their big, restaurant, and they got the chicken place. And I saw him yesterday, and Brett doesn't give a shit. He doesn't mind me throwing him under a bus a little, but I saw him. He's like, dude, I put on 30 pounds. That's because he's a forager. Like he was always out and about. He's working on the farm. He's doing all this stuff. And he's like, the team at Merkin, they're going to grab lunch. They want me to have lunch with them. He's like, I'm eating lunch every day at this place, eating pasta, eating pizza. And he's like, I need to shed some of this shit, but so not eating at your places, that's not a bad thing, right?
I really enjoy going out and experiencing what other people got going on. I just went to Hush last weekend.
Nice. Heck
and
yeah.
Just freaking awesome. We stopped at Barcina before and had some drinks there, and then went over, and I think I ordered half the menu.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll have this, and this. And went with friends. They're not big foodies.
Okay.
And they're like, go ahead and order for us, Matt. I'm like, well, you're eating oysters and duck fried rice. And they had a great time. We had a great time. So looking forward to getting to Chef Stephen Jones's new place.
Oh yeah,
there,
yeah.
The Larder in the Delta, and trying that out. So for me, it's getting out, and I know Chef and Nicole, they get out and go around town and everything. And he just got back from Hawaii.
Nice
bastard.
You do look a little tan.
Yeah, you should see him in his Speedo.
No, I shouldn't.
Yeah, you got to. You haven't lived. But so last year, Chef and Nicole went to San Sebastian, and about a month ago, we were sitting having a beer or two, and I said, "What if we did a dinner based upon your trip to San Sebastian?" And he's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And he put together a menu, and on the 24th of October, we're having a 5-course meal inspired by Spanish Basque cuisine from Chef's trip to San Sebastian.
Nice.
And I've learned so much about the area. I had no freaking clue. Foodie mecca of the world.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just absolutely amazing.
18 or 20 some Michelin starred restaurants just in the San Sebastian area.
Wow. Yeah. Is that why you went? Was that
my
that big
wife
draw?
came up with this. She was like, "Hey, I know," because we were like on the ends of opening this place here.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I got plane tickets. I did this all on my own. We're going to go to San Sebastian." I was like, "Oh shit. I gotta text Matt."
He goes, "Hey Matt, about Oktoberfest."
Yeah, about Oktoberfest. I'm not going to be here.
People are like, "Why are you having Oktoberfest so late this year?"
Yeah.
Oh, my asshole chef went to Spain.
He went to Spain to learn how to make pierogies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. He's working on his pierogi recipe.
So we went out there, and I started researching it, and I was like, "Oh my God, there's so much. It's all about the food there."
Yeah.
And in San Sebastian, they got these things called pinchos. It's just little canapé style sandwiches, just super small plates, tinier than, I don't know if that's even how
tinier.
Tinier.
I'm in. Yeah. That's the name of this episode now.
Smaller than
Tapas.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was fabulous.
Yeah.
You don't get full. There's 100 of them in a block.
Yeah.
And you just hit all these spots, and you try all the food, and they have nice beer, and it's a lot of low alcohol beer.
Yeah.
So you're not getting trashed by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
Double
at night.
IPAs and buffalo chicken sandwiches. Yeah. Right.
But it was a great time. And when he brought it up that we wanted to do something like that, I started going through my phone. I got like 300 photos on there, and just reminiscing to myself about all this fun stuff. And I started getting, it's just inspired from my photos.
Yeah.
Just started writing stuff down. And
nice. So that's October 24th, you said?
It's going to be killer.
Nice.
Absolutely killer.
Very cool. All right. I don't know if I have that day available, but I might have to free up my calendar for that.
I have to check.
So, well, what's before we wrap this up? What's the vision with this place? Like, where do you want? I mean, because you just opened. When did you open?
April 1st,
Okay.
April 3rd. I think it was April 3rd.
Yeah, so I mean, you're just coming up on 6 months,
Yeah.
right? So so it's very new, but what's the vision with this? Where do you want to go with it?
Oh, the idea is to, keep a nice, small, tidy menu, perfect all those items on the menu. Like to be, as they say, hyper seasonal and hyper local, which we're trying to. It's not always easy nowadays,
Sure.
all this inflation and all this stuff happening.
You saying you're not going to the market every morning?
No.
Rotating menu daily?
I am going to the market.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
Yeah.
But just to provide an experience and to our patrons coming in here and they're having a great time and having great food and just having fun.
Yeah.
And making some money at the same time.
That's the dream, right? Like
it's the important part, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because we got to exist.
For sure.
And to exist, we have to run a business.
Yep.
However, our focus has to be on the customer.
Yeah.
And providing them great food, great beer, great service, great cocktails. And the business aspect comes as part of that. My vision for what we're doing here is to establish a community mecca for Northwest Peoria.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. And this is where you go to celebrate the highs and lows of life, because we got to do that, right? We got to acknowledge the challenges in life and stuff. And this is the place where you can come and you can forget about that stuff, or you can figure that stuff out. And it's for families and boyfriends and girlfriends and husbands with husbands and wives with wives. It's for everyone. And just kill it.
Yeah.
I dig it. Well,
These
thanks
awesome
for
people too.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, very blown away. This is incredible. Super stoked for you guys.
This is our office.
Yeah. I mean, you got your computers over there. You got Matt's stacks of money just falling out of that bag over there.
All $50, Eric. You can have it, buddy. You can have it.
50 and ones.
50 and ones. Yeah. Like, what are all those ones for, Matt?
Make it rain, buddy. Make it rain.
I love it. So we'll keep up the good work, guys. Thanks for having us in.
I appreciate you coming up here and taking the trip.
Absolutely. Always happy to. So, all right, guys. Nice work.